Man, I hate traveling.
Yeah.
Going new
Yeah, me too.
places, doing new things, being in spots that I'm not used to being. It sucks. When you say so,
disgusting.
Hayden.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, you could say.
Yeah, not a fan of being new places.
Not a fan of unfamiliar environments, new locales, new settings, somewhere that's like not the norm. Not the biggest fan, no.
You know, I went through 2020 and 2021 choosing not to travel. You know, I just didn't think it was, I didn't think I was ready to go and to a bunch of new places during those specific years. But now, completely again, due to my own choice, 2022 is rolling around, and I'm looking to do a little bit more traveling. Just got back from PAX, me and Jay, in this call at least, we're PAX East buddies. And I want today to be a story of travel, to be stories of travel, con stories, travel stories, all the wacky things that happen from here and there to everywhere else in the world. Welcome everybody to Mouthfools. I'm here with my good friends Hayden.
Yo,
Mr.
what's
Fyrus.
up? Hello. Welcome.
We got Mr. Jaymoji. Hello.
Hello, I'm Mr. Jaymoji. Pleasure to meet all of you for the first time. An honor.
And we got Mr. Gabriel Gaming.
Hi, my baby's asleep right now. Let's do this.
Let's go! Sleeping baby!
I'll tell you, I was doing so much traveling over the last week or so going off to Boston, but the place I want you guys to travel down to is the subscribe button. Move your mouse all the way over. Take that flight, take that bus, take that whole trip. There's going to be a few layovers.
You got it. With that kind of segue, how could you not subscribe? The man's out here. Yeah. He's trying his best, and I respect him for it. Hit that subscribe button.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, so before we go into PAX stories, I want to, just because I haven't actually person-to-person talked about it with you yet, Hayden, what you been up to? You've been doing a little bit of traveling. I want to know the details.
Yeah, so I traveled to Edinburgh because my friend Patters, he lives like nearby. He wanted to go to Scribble Showdown, which is a show where a bunch of YouTube artists come together. They do a live show in front of a live audience, and it's fucking cool. It's like the first time I've ever seen like a show like that. I know Jay went when it was in the States. And I'm friends with like a couple of people that are actually on the show, like Ross, just Ross. I know the others though. Like actually, no, I'm kind of friends with Aaron, I guess. But I went up here because I wanted to hang out with Pat. I wanted to see the show again. It was an excuse to travel, and so I flew out to Edinburgh. First time I've ever flown domestically, by the way. Which can I say, very fucking weird. Being on a plane for less than an hour. I'm so used to like being on a plane for 12 hours. You get some sleep, you wake up in a whole different time zone, and you're not sure where the fuck you are. I woke up. I didn't wake up. I got on the plane. Well, actually, I rushed to the airport. I got there, I want to say 20 minutes before the flight took off. Rushed through security because I didn't have to check my bags. I usually have checked luggage, and I walked onto the plane. The plane took off and it landed like immediately. I was like, what is happening? And then I was in Scotland and I was like, wow, I'm on the same landmass, but just further up this way. But no, it's been really good. We've just been hanging out. We went just around Edinburgh and saw the castle, which is really, really pretty. I posted some pictures on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah. I saw the Twitter pictures.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's a gorgeous city, dude. It's so pretty.
Dude, can I just say, seeing that, like, I would love to see that in person one day, but seeing that in like a photo is so like, you know,
it's picturesque.
I live in Vermont. We got good mountains. But then like castles, stuff like that,
cool.
like sprawling landscapes.
There's like so much history to this city. It's incredible.
That's a part of this world? That's wild. Anyway, go on.
I'm just used to seeing highways and bridges in Jersey. That's about it. That's all we get.
But like, yeah, I came up here, we saw the show. It was great. It's the second time I've seen the show. We hung out for a bit later and then we went out and got some drinks. Great time. Fantastic. Like, I really enjoyed myself. I think I really needed something like that after 2 years. Just like socializing with people in person. Then me and Pat just kind of we kind of bummed around Edinburgh, just kind of hung around. Then we came back to the city we're in now, and we went to see the Nicolas Cage movie. It's like The Unbearable Weight of Great Success or something. It's a movie written by Nicolas Cage about Nicolas Cage where he plays Nicolas Cage.
What?
Oh, wow.
It's an incredible movie. If you have the chance, go see it. It's really, really funny.
And he's humble too.
Does he overact his own role, though?
Yes, he absolutely does. He absolutely does, and I love it so much because of it. He's so self-aware, and it hurts.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And,
I'm
Pat-
into that now.
Yeah, no, you should absolutely go see it. I think you'd love it.
Yeah.
And because of all those circumstances, Pat has kindly donated his office for this episode. So
Wow.
go subscribe to Pat.
Joseph Hatters makes some
Yeah.
funny little Pokemon content.
He's a funny little PokeTuber, that man.
Hmm?
But yeah,
Now
that's
you're taking over his setup, and I'm not giving it
yeah,
back.
I'm gonna
This
start
is
knocking the
yours
door.
forever.
I'm getting a sleeping bag. This room is mine now. Sorry, Pat.
It's my house.
I'm gonna live in these four walls. I'll just order Uber Eats and get it when he goes to sleep.
Yeah.
The
No
studio
rent. Don't
followed
have to
me
pay
home.
Exactly. So that is the reason why I'm in a different setup today.
it. Nice.
Oh yeah.
That is the story.
How's everything
Still
been
doing
so far?
mouthfuls.
Yeah.
Just in what sense?
Like when you said you went down to like Scribble Showdown. I guess this would have been a. Did you go to Scribble Showdown twice?
Yes,
Sorry,
I went
spacing.
to the London show first, and then I came down.
That's
here.
right. That's right.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, how was that event?
Which one? The London showdown? London one or
Both?
this one?
Any
It was
outstanding
really
moments either?
It was really good. It was like I am someone that's only ever been to live shows when it's music. So like rock bands and stuff. Like I've seen Blink 182, I've seen like Linkin Park, Green Day. I've seen those kind of bands live. So this like was a completely different experience because it was like in a venue, but it was an art show. And the format was, I think Skip, the tutorial, like he described it as, it was like Pictionary mixed with Whose Line Is It Anyway? It was like that kind of format where Aaron
That's
was
a
like
very good description of it.
Aaron was the presenter, and they had like a set of games they would do, and each artist would like draw like for the prompt. And it was all like, it was all for like show. It wasn't like a real like competition. It was all just for entertainment. They did this really cool bit at the end where they asked the audience for prompts. They were like, oh, someone that would never let you down, Rick Astley or whatever. Someone that goes really, really fast. And then they would draw characters that would they would draw the audience suggestions that would fit into that character role. And then they'd fit it into like a pre-existing animation. And it was really funny. It was like, that was really, really good. There was one thing as well that, because obviously since I've seen the show before, I kind of knew when parts were a little bit like, there was parts that were recurring. I wouldn't say scripted, but there were parts that were like, oh, okay. So like they kind of kept a running bit.
Yeah.
There was one part that was apparently brand new to the show. They even jump scared Aaron on stage, and it was just an explosion, just out of nowhere. Just a really fucking loud green screen explosion on the screen. And he was like, oh, don't do that again. And then 5 minutes later, whoa, it just happened again. And he did it 3 times. And you could tell like he was genuinely startled. I'm pretty sure that was just, they decided to do that because it was the last show on the tour. But it was really funny seeing the genuine reactions to it because it was also way too fucking loud.
Oh yeah,
But
that's funny.
yeah, overall the show was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I swear twice. I must like it, right?
Must have been that good, right? The first and second time.
I mean, you saw it in New York, right, Jay?
Yeah, so back when they were doing their US tour, I went to go see it in New York. I don't remember when that was. That must have been back
That
in
would have been like
February or something?
A few months ago, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was a minute ago. And it was the first time similarly, it was the first time I'd been to like see a live thing, except I haven't really done concerts. So this was like my first time in a big theater seeing a show, and it was packed. The theater was packed full of people. I could not believe that like there were that many people in this actual theater watching this show, and I understand why. I mean, it was really like unlike anything else I'd ever seen. And it was, I think that's a really good description of it, of like whose line is it. like mixed with Pictionary, because it's amazing to think of how well it's improv'd, but then like the people who are running the behind the scenes and the presentation on the screen, whatever, are almost like a part of the show, and the fact that they can influence what's going on. Like they kept doing this one bit, I don't know if it was a recurring bit, but they had to draw a really cursed Thomas the Tank Engine for something, and they kept having that like fade into the screen occasionally, and everyone would be like, no, get it off, and then it would go away, and then they'd flash it for a second, and the audience would react, and everyone would be like, what are they doing up there?
See, that wasn't
so good.
That wasn't a thing in the Edinburgh show, but there was one there was one prompt where I think Aaron asked someone in the audience, they were like, what is something that you would do, like something you would go to see in the lovely city of Edinburgh, something that really let you like take in the culture and let you, or something that you can do that would really let you, you know, get the full experience of being in Edinburgh. And the person was like, I don't know, stationary? And they were like, he was like, stationary? And he was like, you're artists, aren't you? Stationary? You know what that is, right? And we were just like, huh? She needs to calm. They need to calm down. It's okay. It was so like aggressive and sassy. Stationary. And then all the artists just made it a bit like they worked stationary into every single thing. Like every single prompt like had stationary in as a bit, and it was really really funny.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, Jay, you mentioned the show in New York, and I'm so upset because I wasn't paying too close a track to their US tour. I just saw like, you know, of course, why would it be? Vermont is not on the list. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, be how it be. Then I saw like you and one of my personal friends happen to have been in the New York one. And I'm like, yeah, that New York isn't that far. I should have just done that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Next time.
Next time, yeah.
I wanted to do one in Toronto, but then like, I
heard,
you
mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, I heard you had to do a COVID test not only going into Canada, but also coming back from Canada.
Yeah. Canada's really like strict with it. I remember Dom actually Domix couldn't go to the US part of the tour because of how weird they are with COVID. He could go to Europe. He just couldn't cross the border into America.
Yeah, I wanted to go up, but I was just like, it's a one-day thing. I'm not gonna like, you know, it's gonna be awkward going up there and having to get a 2 to 3 day wait COVID test to go back down. So unfortunately I wasn't able to make it, but I'm glad it was such a good show.
Yeah, no,
especially that, you know, you got to see it twice there.
It was really fun.
Gab, what's the last live event you've been to? Con event? I mean, it could be your wedding.
Yeah, that's
What's the last live event? Yeah, when I got married.
Was TMG after or before my wedding?
TMG was before. Your wedding was the last thing I went to before COVID.
Oh no, so it really was my wedding. Oh, I feel old and sad now. What is happening to me? I used to be outgoing, people.
You had a kid as well, so I don't blame you. You had a kid in that time.
That is a very good point. Kids will mess your social life, people.
Absolutely, which is why I'm never gonna have one.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna live
adorable bundles of joy.
I'm gonna live vicariously through Cab. I'm gonna be the cool Uncle Fyrus.
Yeah.
I can, you know, just make you imagine how it feels to change a diaper daily. Full experience.
It's awesome.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think that, except for my wedding, the last convention I went to was TMG, which is like 2018?
2019.
Oh my god.
19.
Okay,
2019.
Thank you for at least saving me by 1 year.
It was the same year as your wedding. It was earlier on though.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, like 1 month.
2019.
Yeah, your wedding your wedding was late September. TMG was July or June or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And I gotta say, all of my memories of TMG are pretty much like the one thing that I got, and it's so amazing. You know, every time I think of TMG, I think of meeting you guys and like being that hobbit compared to giants and stuff like that. But it was a great time, and I still want to go to TMG this year if possible, but I need a babysitter for the full weekend, which is more complicated, but I want to make it. I'll find I'll find a way. For the gamer inside of me.
I believe.
There's a will, there's a way. Yep. GG's return to the US
the real world.
for TMD22. to the real world.
He's been in the Matrix for 2 years.
Fantasy land of Canada.
Just stuck into like the what's the thing in the Matrix, like the pod. He
Oh
wakes up.
yeah.
He wakes up, he's bald, everything's different.
Where's my hair?
Yeah.
It's just like a
What's
little
wrong with being
visual.
bald?
Oh my god. I remember from like the last TMG, of course, like one of my favorite moments was, I'm sure this echoes the same with you, Jay, your panel was like,
Yeah.
that was such a cool experience to see.
I'm so proud of you for doing it. I'm super sad I missed out on it though.
Yeah.
I know, and like I'm doing another one, which I'm very excited about, and I learned so much from that first panel. Yeah, for TMG 2022.
Oh, I gotta make this then. I gotta make this then.
So yeah, well, it's good that you make it to this one because the first one, as much as Dan gasses it up, wasn't excellent. It was definitely the demo run of like, okay,
It was like
doing
the
a panel,
pilot.
like-
It was the pilot Jaymoji panel.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the real deal.
Yeah, that was the beta. Now we're going into the alpha version.
Plus, I'm gonna be there, which means it's gonna be complete. So
That'll be the Sigma version.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say my favorite thing is that they put you in the corner.
That's
full stop.
That's what I was gonna say.
No, go ahead.
They
then.
put me in the corner
It was unlit,
without
wasn't
any
it?
lights. Yeah. And it was at night, so it wasn't like I was in a bright, like we were next to the windows, but it was dark because we were in the arcade section. So there were like really loud arcade machines going off and like a Smash tournament happening across the lane, and no lights. But for what it was worth, the opportunity of being able to get up there on stage, to 60 plus people, like holy shit, I can't believe that many people even showed up. And then to I premiered a video and play Mario Kart modded with viewers. It was something that I dreamt about my entire life, of going to these cons and like being a guest and whatever else. And the first time I met Dan in person was at Too Many Games of 20. I want to say
18. It was the year before.
18.
Yeah.
Right. No, I met Dan 2017.
Yeah, it was
No,
earlier.
you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
No,
2018 because
you met me in 2019. You met Dan in the year
2019.
before.
yeah,
That was
so-
it. That
so then
was the year
2018.
that it was only you and Dan really that went
Right.
out of
Yeah,
our,
I remember that now.
after
Jeez.
like our group.
All
If that makes
merged
sense.
together.
Right. Yeah.
My memory worked good.
Mine don't.
We got it rolling. But it was that alone was like my first con experience and meeting Failboat. It was surreal seeing like a collaborator in person for the first time, whenever else. And then 2019, Too Many Games obviously was fantastic that all of us could be there. The stars could align and we had the time of our lives hanging out in the hotel room and going out to eat and then going to parties and whatever else.
Man, the Screenwave party.
Fail snoring, great times. Great
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The
Oh my
most
God.
exciting experience we could possibly have.
I think it's
Fun.
it's funny. There was I think it was on the last day of TMG when because I filmed I was obnoxious with that fucking camera because as a film student person thing, I know that if you don't film a lot, you're going to have too little and then you're going to have to reuse footage and it sucks. So I was like, I'm just going to be obnoxious and put the camera in everyone's faces. And I was like filming, I think I was filming myself looking down with one of Dan's like rubber chickens, just squeaking it in my hand. And Dan had just got out of the shower. He was off frame. I think he thought I was aiming the camera at him. And he was like, I'm naked, Fyrus. And I was like, I just burst into fucking tears. It was so fucking funny because I was like, dude.
Did that not make it into the vlog? That sounds like excellent material.
It's in the vlog because I'm squeaking. I think it's the day 3 transition. In particular, I'm aiming it down. I squeak it a couple times, and he's like, "I'm naked, Fyrus," and it goes, "Day 3."
I remember.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Wow, good
That was
times.
such a good vlog, man.
I'm
watch
excited
that
to
every
like
so often.
go to cons in America again and make. I'm gonna make more vlogs like that, and they're gonna be better. Subscribe to me. They're gonna be better than that one.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
As if it was possible to make a better vlog, it will
Right.
be better. Because this time we will film Failboat getting out of the shower.
This time we will show him full nude.
Yeah,
subscribe
we're
for that.
not half-assing it this time. We're full-assing it, so to speak.
Sorry. Sorry to go on another tangent before you continue your story. You just saying that reminded me of another instance where I was filming you, Jay, in the morning. And it's similar story. Gab had just got out of the shower, I think. And I think he was just in his boxes or something. And like the window, the blinds were pulled. And he was just like doing like a jig or something, and you were like, "Oh, great, Gab! Now the whole interstate got like a major just view of your asshole," and it was so fucking funny. It was so fucking funny, dude.
That's what happens when you get us four in a hotel room and act immature as hell. It's gonna happen.
Because the camera was on you, so obviously they didn't see what I saw in my peripheral vision.
Right.
So
right.
Out of context, it's so fucking funny because everyone else is like, "Was he just like naked in the hotel room? Why are they all naked? What's going on?"
It's a Canadian thing, people. Don't worry, it's normal in Canada.
Sorry, I think
customs.
You were talking about your panel, I think, Jay.
Oh yeah, just that panel was an amazing experience. To something I had always dreamt about doing, and then finally ended up doing. It was really surreal. And 2022, I've learned a lot from the 2021 convention and panel, and even from PAX East. This year I learned a lot. And I have a good plan of attack on how I want to do things at Too Many Games of 2022. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of people, maybe making a video at some point, but definitely doing a panel bigger and better than I did last year. Just like fully embracing the Mario Kart tournament with mods, but like putting in the craziest mods. I want to commission some mod makers to do some stuff. Just making it an awesome experience. I want it to be unforgettable.
Hell yeah.
So, it really is like a surreal experience doing that. And I don't know, cons in general are just like such big motivators for stuff.
That's
like that.
that's really fucking cool, because I remember when I met you, you were like, well, I want to like, obviously you had the aspirations. I was like, I want to be a big YouTuber one day. And but then you were like, I really, really want to do a panel one day. Like you were like, you said that when you had like 8,000 subs to me, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's my fucking boy.
We did it, dude. It was a weirdly specific motivator for me, because I saw other YouTubers doing it and they'd be on stage with an audience clapping, and it's like, man, like that is the core of what we do, is to like present something to a group of people, but to see the reaction live is like, it's unlike any other feeling on earth.
Do you think you'd ever want to do a panel at PAX in particular?
I didn't think to do one this year, but then I saw like the list of the panels that were happening at PAX this year, and I was just like, man, I could totally do one of these, like totally like something that's marketed, like it's something that people would definitely want to come see. I think even if you're a Jaymoji fan or not, like if I frame it as something that's interesting, like modded Mario Kart or modded Smash Bros tournament or whatever, we could fill a room with people that want to come through and see that. Yeah. So I always perceived that PAX was too big of a convention for me to land a panel in, but they're not based off of that, of like viewership. It's just like anybody who has something worth presenting can apply for a panel and make it happen. So I think next year I would genuinely do that.
Plus, you gotta give yourself some credit, man. You've nearly got like 400,000 subs. I mean, that's like not a small channel, I'd say. So
it's definitely not a teeny tiny little.
Exactly. I get what you're saying though. Like, it's easy to feel like it's not, but I get.
Yeah, like, it feels like the big gig. Like you go to play in a show. That's like the biggest concert you could perform. You know what I mean? Versus TMG is like a local thing. It's run by our network, so it's like, okay, easier to get a panel there and get a good crowd of local people coming through. But yeah, to answer the question, yes, I do next year actually want to try and see if I can do a panel for PAX.
I'd go to PAX. I'd go to PAX.
I was going to say, I'd hope that all you guys would be in the audience.
I'd go to PAX specifically for the Jaymoji panel. Yeah, I'd go specifically for the Jaymoji panel. It's funny that you mentioned motivators, stuff like that. It's like having a panel and just wanting to do a panel one day as a specific motivator. This isn't like so much that, but I've noticed that being around like Pat, like the person whose office this is, and like being around the people in Scribble Showdown, my friends in Scribble Showdown, and just hanging out with those, it's like a big motivator for me to want to, when I get home, to just make YouTube content and try and like, really just knuckle down and try and get that going. I think traveling in general, like, because I mean, 99% of my friends are YouTubers and like people that are involved in this space. So I feel like traveling and meeting any of you guys in general is gonna like do wonders for my mental, because I'm like, wow, these are real people with like
Yeah.
real problems, and like they're just like me for real, you know? So seeing that and like seeing like their funny little voices come out of a real human body as opposed to just a disembodied voice through Discord, I'm like, wow, you are just like me when it boils down to it. Like, strip all the numbers away, we are just the same pretty much.
Yeah.
I want to that makes me want to do better. So that's kind of like where my head's at right now. Like, I want to get back and just fucking go hard.
It turns something that is just a digital thing into like a
Tangible,
very
yeah.
physical, tangible. Thank you, perfect word. Like a tangible thing. So when I go up and I grab Jay's face, I'm like, wow, it's like he's real.
Real.
Wow. Whoa.
He's got like real human skin.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's
I gotta
crazy.
take some of this back to the lab for later.
Yeah, I'm gonna clone him and make my own. Grow my own Jaymoji in the backyard.
In my own collaborator farm. This is awesome.
My own my influencer farm. It grows stronger.
Yes, a ripe collaborator. I like it.
I feed them YouTube subscribers and they grow big and strong.
Investments.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, dude, speaking of like big motivators, like, oh my god, I think the biggest I mean, PAX as a whole, cons as a whole, are always huge motivators to me. Like, I hit the 1 million subscribers, you know, like a month ago, and I was like,
again,
all
by the
right,
way.
thank you, man, I appreciate it.
Golf claps.
And I was like, wow, this is what I've been grinding for forever. I kind of want to just like take time off and like go to PAX and then come back motivated. And so I took my time off. I went to PAX. Like you said, meeting people tangibly, especially after like the kind of hiatus cons have been on for the last 2 years.
COVID, world pandemic,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Seeing everyone again and catching up with them and seeing how lives have changed, how things are different now, and just as Court, meeting people, just seeing people, meeting people, catching up.
I like describe it as like a time skip in an anime. Like
Yeah.
everyone's had their time skip, and now we all have our like
Yeah.
our post time skip designs. Like Jay's got facial hair and like dreads and stuff now, and Dan's got like a full fucking goatee.
Yeah.
Gab is Gab.
Yeah.
Gab has a child.
Gab has a kid. Gab has a kid. That's his time skip design. He's got his little kid just on his shoulders.
but after going to PAX, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come back with as much motivation as possible. I'm gonna go down, write it down, a bunch of ideas. That was the plan. Instead, I came back with immense back pain.
That's so
My
awesome,
feet hurt,
dude.
my legs hurt. I'm like, I have such an unrealistic expectation. Day one return from PAX, I'm gonna be on the grind. And I guess technically we're doing a recording of a Mouthfools episode. But also, I'm like, wow, I've had to take 4 Tylenol in the last 12 hours
And
to
then
even
go the
like.
fuck to sleep.
Yeah. My feet hurt, my back hurt. I fell asleep on the plane. Worst decision I ever made.
Yeah, that's terrible. Never do that.
Just rattled me around, and I like.
Unless it's international, never sleep on the plane. There's no point.
Oh God. But yeah, on the genuine motivators, biggest motivator for me ever at a convention had to have been the meetup that Jay and I did at the pre-COVID PAX.
Oh, the one that like happened just before the world, like the last thing ever that happened before the whole world just went and shut down.
Yeah.
Dude, that was back when I was just trivializing COVID. And I was walking around with hand sanitizer, like, oh, you want a hit of this hand sanitizer? This will keep you safe. I remember distinctly.
I was just gonna say that there's only one case of COVID in Boston. We're fine. It'll all blow over.
Yeah, shouldn't be a big deal.
I distinctly remember when AAAs were pulling out. I'm like, why would you pull out of PAX?
Yeah,
This
what are
is
you
why-
weirdos? What are you lame? What's going on?
This isn't a major thing. This is just like a cold.
Yeah. Oh, if only.
So then that happened 2 years later. But yeah, no. The meetup before PAX or before COVID was insane. Me and Jay had a Screenwave booth thing, time slot set up where people could come by and shake hands, take photos, all that stuff. I've never done that before in an official setting. Like I've done like, hey, I'm nearby the Nintendo booth and see, you know, just looking at game. Yeah. But like this was like a on the docket, on the schedule, come by and see us. I didn't know what the turnout was gonna be. Like, I remember the first meetup I did at PAX, I had like 2 people that showed up that were like, I love Purple Shep. Who's Failboat?
Oh no, that's the worst.
But so yeah, when this one came around, I was like, oh, I'm not sure what it's gonna be like, you know, whatever. But then like I sat down, or when I was walking over to sit down, I'm like, man, the guy before us had like a really long line. What the hell? And I was like, wait a second. This is our line.
It's our line.
Like they were like wrapped around the corner, and they were like Hat Kid cosplayers and stuff like that. I remember
That's so
people,
fucking cool.
people came up and like asked us to sign a few odd things. I have them over there. I got like rubber chicken tube socks.
That's
that were
awesome,
given
though.
to
Dope.
me. Yeah.
Actually dope. Very on brand. I like that.
I was asked to sign like a tube of toothpaste.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think a pair of underwear, if I'm correct.
yeah.
Was it a pair of shorts? You signed some clothing of someone's.
I think it was a pair of boxers or something
Okay.
like that.
It's equally as weird as I predicted it would be.
Someone asked me to sign a Bible, which frankly was the greatest event. Just
Dude,
writing my own name
so
in the Bible.
based.
Like,
That's incredibly based.
I grew up a Christian. I feel like I'm committing some kind of sin, but I don't
Yeah.
like.
Greatest vandalism that was ever committed.
No, you are just their god. That's what they said. That's so terrible.
That's what it is. Nothing strange about
the
that
Church
at
of
all.
Failboat. Nothing
Humble
weird
brag,
about that.
humble brag, you know, nothing there.
Humble brag. I signed a religious artifact.
Yeah, it was really weird. I signed the Bible and then they wanted me to spray water on them and kiss their babies. It was strange. It was really weird. But, you know, when in Rome, when in PAX.
Gave me some bread.
When in
asked me to
Rome.
just-
It's not the Pope mobile, it's the boat mobile. It's different. Okay?
Exactly.
Dude, Thursday at this PAX, I was a part of this event called Stream Stars, just to
I
boost my
watched
ego a little
that.
bit more. Yeah. And I was competing in a Fall Guys like tournament event thing. And speaking of religious context at PAX, I wore a shirt that had a Jesus me on it that just says "He saved me" with like a Bible
That's so
verse in
good.
it.
That's so good.
I just asked a bunch of people to do praying emotes in the chat. I'm gonna enjoy looking back and seeing that. Every PAX I apparently have Christian connotations. So curious to see if I'm gonna get crucified at PAX 2023. But
That's gonna be on the Stream Star
interesting.
stage. That's the main event.
Weird progression these cons have been having lately.
Crazy.
But no, I want to talk about like I don't know. Signing a Bible was a pretty weird event. What are some of the weirdest, most memorable stuffs you've run into at conventions, travel, things like that? Giving it to the floor, but Jay has his finger up. So
Just before we get to that, I do want to do a slight tangent about that PAX Arena thing.
Yeah.
My experience of that was very funny because I was like in the front row, and I guess because it was Thursday, not many people were there, and it was a Fall Guys tournament, so I guess there wasn't a huge turnout. But you know, they have like 200, 300 seats set up, and there's like 40 people, maybe less, that were there. And Skip and I got front row seats like right where Dan was. So whenever he like.
I was just gonna say, I could see you guys on the stream. I remember that.
Could you actually?
Yeah. On the when the camera like panned out and there was like fucking like no one in the audience, pretty much. I just saw you guys like at the front. Like I saw the dreads and I saw Skip's like cap and stuff.
Dude, we we were in the front row, and then when it cut to Dan on screen losing, Skip just let out this like agonizing cry. It was he was just like,
Wait, hold up. You've got the clip, haven't you?
I don't know if I do because I posted it on Instagram, so it might have been like an Instagram story that
Hold up,
disappeared.
I could like play it through the mic because you sent it to me. Oh no, you texted it to me.
I might have texted it to you.
You did.
yeah.
It was like hold
There
up,
were
hold
two
up.
of them. There's one where he shrieked really loud, and then one where he cried, and it was funny. Yeah, that's what it was.
But yeah, again, Jay's like, let's go, Failboat, let's go. I walk off the stage and die. And our friend skipped the tutorial. Just
I'm gonna post that in editors resources.
Yeah. Played alongside playing.
That was
my
beautiful.
My other favorite thing about that was when we were sitting there, you made a post saying that you were at, you were like, yeah, I'm at PAX Arena doing this, whatever. And then I went up and like took a photo of you on stage from my perspective.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I know where you are. And I left that in the replies. Then I went to sit down. And I looked in my mentions and someone had taken a picture of me from another angle and they were like, I know where you are. And so I had about a 2-second panic attack and then I turned to my right and I realized it was one of my mod developer friends who I had no idea that he was going to PAX.
Oh wait, did you
and
not?
I was like, oh, okay.
Did you not know he was behind you?
So I had no clue that he was there. I didn't know he was going. I just saw the photo and I was like, somebody's stalking me.
That's so creepy. I thought you just knew and you were in a group and that it was all like planned. That's way funnier. I'm sorry. That is way funnier.
It's hilarious. It genuinely freaked me the fuck out. And I was like, oh, it's S-Dark Magic. It's like one of my really good friends who I had no idea was like local to the area. And he came through to the convention and we hung out a little bit. So shouts out to him. But I just thought it was just a funny experience of just like, oh yeah, I know where you are, and I know where you are, Jaymoji. Like, you're never safe at PAX. But I don't know, those are my tangents.
Don't you just love it when you go
that.
to a convention, you start fearing for your life? You know, it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
You don't get the full sauce of PAX East unless you're a little bit on edge constantly. You have to be. But yeah, it was such a great experience. Even though Dan got, what'd you get, second or third?
I got third.
PAX
Yeah, I
East,
was gonna say, I think you were
Yeah.
third, yeah.
I'm still proud of you. Could have got first, but you know, maybe next
Yeah,
year.
it could have done better, but you know, it was good enough.
Bro, I'm playing Fall Guys, the penguin game, and the game where you have to push blocks to like jump up. They're like my two least favorite video games.
Oh yeah.
As a whole, I hate them. That's a tangent. I like Fall Guys. Fun game, like those two games.
You did your best. You did
feel
your best, and we're proud of you.
Fall Guys?
Yeah, it's like they have like little robot penguins that run around. You have to grab them and hold them.
Yeah, you have to hold them for a certain amount of time, right? And then
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna paint the picture. We're like round 4 or 5 in the game in this tournament, right? I'm like, all right, I just gotta make it through this penguin mini game. I haven't played it yet, but I understand the premise. We have to hold a penguin for 25 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, cumulatively. And other people are gonna try and grab the penguin and, you know, from you and fight for it. There's not enough penguins as there are people, and the amount of people that get 25 seconds get qualified for the next round, right? So I squabble for penguins for the first like 30 seconds. I can't find a dang bird. And then I have like a breakaway moment. I'm like, I'm gonna run away from the pack and just hope that there's a penguin in like an isolated area. I go up to where an isolated area, penguin there, easy win, grab the penguin, 21, 22, 23, game over. I had an easy win in this penguin game if I had 2 more seconds. And I'm like, no worries,
so sad.
disqualified. 2 rounds later, same situation. Penguin game once again. Squabble for the first 30 seconds, breakaway moment. Penguin, isolated area. I grab it. 21, 22, 23. Game over. I lose my mind. I got robbed twice in the funny penguin game. I'm sorry. That's my tangent. I wanted to know about your guys' outstanding convention live event moments, but I just had a little bit of trauma resurface.
I think Jay.
Outstanding moment.
I think Jay. Were you saying something, or was that your thing?
Oh yeah, that was my. Actually, you know what? It kind of does answer that of like an outstanding moment, because that did kind of stand out to me of Skip screaming at you on stage.
Oh yeah, no, it was
getting
the
caught.
stream. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
But
I'm trying to think.
yeah, that'd be mine.
I haven't really been to many cons. Like the only one I've really went to is TMG, and I don't think that anything particularly weird happened. I got noticed
flipping through the pages that year.
Yeah.
I got being recognized in person was fucking weird. That happened at the first time at TMG. When I was a little baby YouTuber, I just hit 10,000 subs because I did that at your house actually. Yeah. I flew in. I had 9,800, I think, at Jay's. And he was like, ooh, would it be crazy if you hit it today? And I was like, I don't need that stress, man. And he was like, okay, we're doing it tonight. And I'm like, oh, bro, do we have to? And then Dan did the Failboat. Daniel did the community tab post. And I was like, oh, God, it's going to happen right now. And Jay was more excited than I was because I was fucking exhausted. I was so tired from international travel. He was like, oh, dude, it's unreal. It's unreal. And I was like, yeah, it's wow. That's a lot of numbers. And then obviously the whole, the wholesome video and stuff, very, very near and dear to my heart. But being recognized in person. I remember we were pulling up to TMG I think we were just walking. It was us four all just walking together, and someone was like, Fyrus! And I was like,
the first thing that happened to us when we got there.
I was like, is there another one?
Another Fyrus fan?
Is there another? No, is there another Fyrus? Just in general?
Fyrus? Surely they're mistaken.
Yeah, surely it's not me, right? And they ran over and hugged me. I feel terrible. I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was someone we were familiar with. No, I don't think it was PK. Was it PK?
Not PKSparkxx, PKPEEKAY.
Oh, that's right. It was. Okay, gotcha. But
there were a couple other people, because Talo and I think Sagasi were there too. And at that moment, everybody was waiting for us. J-Man was there, Vicvion.
Yeah, you're right. That was fucking weird. Being asked to sign someone's hat, that was fucking weird. Like, they were like, yo, you're Fyrus, right? Sign my hat. And I'm like, you want me to defile your hat and write things on it? This is a nice hat, dude. You sure you don't want to wear this? Okay, sure.
With my gamer tag? Are you positive?
This isn't a con thing, but this is something that happened at Scribble Showdown. And I realized it might be weird. I introduced myself as Fyrus, and then one of my friends made fun of me. They were like, "Ha, Fyrus," and then I think it was Odd Ones Out, James. He turned to me and he was like, did you just introduce yourself to me with your YouTuber name? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, ew. And I was like, oh, I've never done this before. I'm sorry. So I was like, hi, I'm Hayden, but I go by Fyrus, I guess.
Drag you through the coals.
See, the trick, Fyrus, is you make your YouTuber name your real name, so you can do both at the same time. So there's.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Gaming, also known as Gabriel Gaming.
Okay, maybe when you put it like that.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who wins in this scenario, because I could be like, hey, I'm Jay, and they're like, oh, Jay. All right, that is your name and my channel, so it kind of my last name is Moji, so it works.
Hey there, my name is Failure.
I could have told you that. Pleasure to meet you, buddy.
Yeah.
just one good look at you, and I can already tell you're telling the
truth. Oh my gosh.
I think for me, my favorite moment coming from TMG was when we all went to Buffalo Wild Wing. And just that big meetup, and we had Ed's on a little phone right there that was cool.
Yeah.
And I remember also, I love spicy food, but I can't stand it with my very weak sauce stomach. So at some point, I think it's a Light Laser that tells me, yeah, you gotta try these, they're super good. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try. And one wing ruined my entire night because I don't know what was in it, but that
I was thinking it was habanero. I think it was habanero wings.
Yeah,
mango habanero.
That's strong. That's the thing. And I was just like, oh, that's good. That's good, man.
That's the thing as well. I think that's in the vlog. I know Failboat had one, and he was like, I'm fine. And he was like.
It's always the second win. It's always the second win with spicy food with me. I'm like, pretty banging.
Yeah, you looked at me dead in the eye and looking like something was brewing because you were like, yeah, it's fine. And I'm like, you look like someone that's just stared death in the eye. And you're like, no, it's fine. I'm good. And you're like, there's the water. I was like, it's going to be okay, man. And then I took one. I took a habanero wing. And I was like, it's pretty good. And you were like, are you fucking okay? Are you like a human being? And I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's fine.
Delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Your
just a
secrets,
really
master.
just delectable chicken. I don't know what you're talking about.
I need
Oh,
those
yeah.
taste buds, dude. I don't got that. God, no. I think my favorite thing from cons as a whole. Oh, sorry. What's up?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was gonna go on my own tangent, but like, it was the my favorite thing, because Gab reminded me of it, was the was the Wendys run, and the main reason for that was because that was the first time I had exhibited YouTuber energy, crackhead YouTuber energy in person with someone I do that with online. But we just went kind of feral. We just kind of let it go. We were like, we're going to Wild Wings. We're going to Wild Wings! And we're like, wow. We just like rallied them up like fucking like troops. We were like, let's fucking go. Let's go to Wild Wings. And like, I don't know, it just felt really, it was just fun. We just got a group of people together and we were like rallying the troops to go to Wendys. I got the two stories mixed up. But we were rallying them to go to Wendys, and we just had like this fucking unit, this whole team of people charging towards this one fast food restaurant. I think that was just really funny.
It reminds me of when you're like so giggly that any joke kind of sets you off. Like, how many people are really gonna go to like Wendys with such gusto?
Exactly.
You know, not
exactly.
too many. But then we're doing like the group mentality, and it's like, hey guys, who wants to go to Wendys?
You're going to Wendys?
No.
He's not
I
for
just
real.
pity
Is he?
the
He's not for
Wendy's
real?
employees that saw us come in and like, oh no.
Oh, God.
Now they're gonna give us so much money. Oh god.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Oh god, I really hope I lose my job by the end of the week. I don't want their money.
Just a slow build up. We're going to win. It was my favorite thing.
I like it, like when we because Taylor was the first person we asked for that, and he was like, "You're going to Wendys?" And we're like, "We're going to Wendys. We're going to Wendys."
It just goes back and forth and just endlessly.
Yeah, like I think we were like gassing each other up, but like I would go with one intensity, you would ramp up the intensity. I tried to one up your intensity, and then you one up mine. And it was like a climbing battle.
Everyone there is just like, Wendys.
I mean, they're passionate. They seem like they want to do this. I guess let's go. Still
I remember
weird.
when we started heading there. There was like two people like sitting on the curb that were like, "Hey, have fun at Wendy's."
They were like, yeah, you have a good time. It's
These guys know what's up.
still weird to me that the burgers are square. That's a bit odd, but you know.
It is weird. We live here and it's weird.
Yeah, like I mean,
yeah.
I know burgers aren't any specific shape; they're just cuts of an animal. But like square, I'm just so used to the circles, like a square. It's like a square pizza. I know it exists, but why does it exist?
Yeah, defies the laws of food.
Pizza physics, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Square pizza started no clipping against the wall again. Come on.
Come on, man.
Come on, it's gonna end up in the
Game
back rooms if it
Wendy's.
keeps doing that.
Ever just drop your pizza and one of the slices ends up in your rafters? Just out of bounds.
Get out the task manager. We gotta fix this.
We gotta end task, restart.
So,
Although,
yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think one of my favorite thing I'll do in a con is that kind of wandering beauty, you know, just hanging it out in a con and getting lost and just looking at all the booths and stuff like that and being like, oh, I'm gonna buy that thing which I'm never gonna use again, but just for the event, you know, it's really fun. Because I remember I bought a set of D&D dices and I still got them. Never used them, but they're kind of like, hold on. I think I got a baby.
That's the D&D
waking up,
dice.
so hold on, I'm gonna bring back a baby from the con. Be right back.
Okay.
I know you were gonna say something before my Wendy's story, so go ahead. That's why I was wiggling my finger.
Oh yeah. No, what I was gonna bring up was one of my favorite things about cons is when companies like to show up. Let me a little bit better wording.
I love company.
Let's go companies. Like indie developers and AAAs, they love. Oh, hold on 1 second. The whole tangent's about to get disrupted here because Gab just brought his baby into frame, and it takes a little bit of constitution to keep on topic when this happens. But They're wonderful. But one of my favorite things about cons, is again like when companies, AAAs, whatever, bring out really cool designs for their booths. This year, Tiny Build, in my opinion, like took the cake. They had a whole carnival theme going on.
It was cool.
They had a big flashing light, the Tiny Build Carnival, and you like walk in and play all their games. It just feels so much fun. And far and away, my favorite instance of this was the PAX before COVID, Nintendo booth. Nintendo, for all their game releases, they like to... I'm losing my composure. Baby Andres is playing with Gav's beard.
How could you not? I mean, right there.
I just shaved it this morning too, it's crispy.
But PAX loves to always, or Nintendo loves to always have themed booths for their newest. I know, Nintendo is the
it's great, isn't it, Andre?
Get that early customer. They love to always theme it around their newest releases. And this one was around Animal Crossing. And it was one of the coolest experiences. First of all, I was hyped for Animal Crossing as is. To not only play it early, but to walk around the Nintendo booth, which had been set up like an Animal Crossing island, kind of. I know, Animal Crossing. It's the coolest thing. Everyone loves it. Even babies love it.
Even babies love it.
And they had
Animal Crossing.
They had, of course, Tom Nook and Isabelle cosplayers, in like big. Yeah, I know Tom Nook. He's a cute little dude. Walking around, and giving little highs and shakes to everyone. But the wildest thing that they had there, where they had Animal Crossing props. So they had like a real Animal Crossing tree and a like half of a real Animal Crossing house, and like a net and a fishing rod and stuff like that. I remember rushing down there to try to be like the first in line. And even with rushing, I wasn't able to get. I was like halfway through the line, and I got to like walk around and pick up like the Animal Crossing axe. I was like posing with it to do like a throw, and someone like stepped in frame without realizing, looked at me and thought I was about to hit them over the head with an axe, and they were like, "Oh!" So precursor to Animal Crossing cursed content, but oh my god, it was just such a genuinely wild experience. I love when companies put all they got into booths like that and just make it like a wild experience outside of the game itself.
Yeah, it's excellent promotion for a game to make it an experience that you can only have in real life. That'll make you be like, man, like this really is good press, to experience this promoting. It just makes it feel more genuine than just like, hey, here's a new game, give us your $60 and enjoy it. It's like a proper experience that you get to live and feel like if you get the game, you're like, yeah, this is what I wanted, this is what I expected. And it's awesome because of that. It's a shame Nintendo wasn't at PAX this year, or a lot of major gaming companies really weren't at PAX this year.
It's probably because it's still like, COVID's not like, COVID's still very much a thing, even though it's like died down in terms of being covered like from like news outlets and stuff. So people are still very much afraid of big conventions in place, big gatherings of people. So I think
so it might be
fingers crossed, like next year there's like more confidence in that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might be like a year or two before we really get, something back.
Like the hustling and bustling like PAX kind of conventions and stuff.
And then there's no masks and there isn't a lot of worry about COVID. And I know this year at PAX there were a couple cases, I think they were confirmed. So if you went to PAX, stay safe. But, it's a shame that that's what it is. We kind of got like a half PAX. Like 3/4 maybe.
3/4.
But it acknowledgeably wasn't as big as it was before. That being said, it was still huge. It was still amazing. Seeing people, we ran into a couple viewers there. This year, Skip is really good at just like complimenting people's stuff. Just like cosplays, be like, oh, I like your cosplay, I like this and that. I'm like, man, I want to do that. And so the one time that I did it, a guy had a Splatoon shirt on, and I was like, okay, I recognize that. I can compliment that, maybe start a conversation, whatever. So he was walking by, in like the busiest lane that there was, like the central lane, on the expo hall. And I saw the Splatoon shirt. I was like, oh, yo, nice Splatoon shirt. That's cool. And then he kept walking. He was like, oh, yeah, thank you, whatever. And then I heard him like stop in his tracks and like turn around and look at me. And he was like, wait a minute. Are you Jaymoji? And I was like, yeah. Like,
That's
I love your Splatoon videos.
That's so sick. What the hell? That's so sick.
It was wild because like, if I hadn't pointed it out, we might have not even met.
Yeah, he probably
but
wouldn't have seen you because he
because-
kept walking. He just didn't it
Yeah.
just didn't click with him.
Yeah, but because I had pointed it out, we were like bonded over Splatoon and Splatoon 3.
It probably was the voice. Like he heard your voice and then he looked at you and it clicked together.
Yeah. It was just really funny. I was like, oh yeah, thanks. And he was like, skirt. Wait a minute.
Put the brakes on for a sec.
Yeah.
You know, like the
And
Sonic
he got a
slowing
picture and
down
stuff.
animation.
Yeah.
He was hauling ass too. I don't know. He might have been late for something, but he like rounded the corner, was booking it. I was like, oh, nice Splatoon shirt.
Jaymoji is more important than those previous commitments.
Whatever else it was, my Uber being late. It was nice. I got a photo with him and stuff, and it was really cool. And we met a couple people that were viewers of Dan and I, and it was really cool meeting people there, and meeting other YouTubers. I got to meet She Says and talk to him a little bit.
Oh,
I know
Boundary
Vinny
Break,
was there. Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, and it was awesome. It was really awesome. And you know, I think that's kind of the biggest thing about conventions is like the thing that is set up sometimes isn't even as exciting as what happens. Like PAX East was great this year. Granted, there weren't as big companies coming through, and you know, I mean, they had Intel and Discord and some other major gaming companies come through, but you know, not as huge of an event itself as it used to be. But the most exciting part is the people that you go with, the people that you meet, the experiences that you have, the laughs that you have. I mean, I love TMG, but it's not the biggest convention. But TMG 2019 was the most memorable thing ever because all of us were there, and we were, you know, the thing I remember most is the car rides there and the nights at the hotel and going out to restaurants and meeting with the crowds and we're going to Wendy's. Like that was all outside of the convention.
Like
it sticks the most.
Luke, Game Boy Luke, he said to me that the reason he goes to cons isn't really even the cons, it's just the people. Like the people go there. You make the memories with the people there. Not to like dog on the cons and say that the cons are bad. But it's like you go because it's like a gathering place for all like these cool people that it's like a reason to just meet up once a year.
Yes, yeah, it's an excuse to have everybody come together and also to play video games and you have the convention, whatever else. Speaking of Luke, it was amazing that we ran into him.
Did you meet him? Yeah, I DM'd him. I was like, give Jay and Failboat a big old kiss for me. And I was like,
we didn't make out. We didn't make out. So he
what?
didn't
I told him to do that though.
I wish I had known. I would have persisted. Anyway, it was amazing seeing him though, because he was one of those people that is like, oh my god, you're a real person. Like I didn't even expect to see him, and he was there. Yeah. But it was so cool. I wish I got to hang out with him more. But there was a lot of like that of like people I was like I had no idea you were going to be there, and we saw Meat Canyon. He was there. I'm a huge fan of his stuff.
That's cool.
Meeting him was really cool. And a bunch of other people. I know there were some panels I wanted to go to that we didn't really get a chance to because there's so much to do, but it's exactly that, right? Is there's so many, you know, secondary things beside just the event itself that really make a memory great. It's like going to a concert. Like the music is excellent, it's an awesome experience, but if you go with 10 people and you're hanging out and having a party, it's like, all right, that's what makes the trip, you know?
Shout out to last TMG when me and Jay were going to Wawa's. And someone came by middle of me like shopping and said, Failboat, could you sign my shoe? And I'm like, what? At the Wawa's? This is my first time at a Wawa's and I'm signing a shoe? This is an odd experience. And I tweeted about it. I'm like, oh, I'm signing a shoe at a Wawa's for the first time. Then we went to Wawa's afterwards. Nothing happened. The next Wawa's trip, another person came up to me and after seeing the tweet was like, hey, Phil, you want to sign my shoe? So suddenly my ratio of going to Wawa's to doing signings was like a 1 and 2. Like half the it's a coin flip. Half the time I go to Wawa's, it's a normal experience. Half the time I sign a shoe. Like,
yeah, you never know what you're gonna get when you make a Wawa run. That's, you know, that's how I view it.
But like, just echoing, meeting friends and having a wonderful time a wonderful slot of time to just see people that you wouldn't be able to see otherwise. People that come from miles away, hundreds of miles away. People that are even local that just don't normally have a lot of time off. that you can just spend like a perfect weekend scheduling stuff out, blocking stuff out without other things clouding your mind. It's the best. It's the best. If you've never gone to a con before, it's not for everybody, and I recognize that, especially with the way, you know, the world is at the moment. But man, if you can make it out to one, definitely try and treat yourself, because God, they are some of the most memorable things I have ever been able to do in beyond my YouTube history and like my gaming history. They are just straight up such a surreal experience, and I highly encourage people to check them out.
Yeah, worth it every time. And but the feeling that you get after it of just like, man, that was amazing. It's motivational on every front. Then you're like, I want to go back out and go to another con. I want to do more stuff. For content creators, it's really a motivational experience of like, man, I'm met with viewers, I met with other content creators, I had all these experiences, and it just feels like these are my people. I want to make videos for these people. So you
these
come
are
back
the real
and you're like,
people.
all right.
These are the people that
Yeah.
I'm entertaining. And they're
It
real.
really puts a face. Yeah, exactly. It puts a face to our job of like, okay, it's not just this thing of making videos to numbers and words on a screen. It's these are people who genuinely, other people who make content and people who watch yours. It's just I don't know. It just was
like,
really a grounding experience.
Well, I've spoken to a couple of people about this kind of thing recently, and our job is very lonely. Like, we are people that are in an office, like behind a screen, and our interactions with the people who watch our stuff and the people we work with, who tend to be like our closest friends, are you know, it's digital. It's through a screen. You don't get that like in person, like you don't get that warmth from the interaction. You do, but it's different. It's not like there's like compression, there's like delay, and it's not the same as physically being with someone. And it's the
I don't
same.
know what you're talking about right now, Fire.
And it's like the same as you can't say that you have a little you in your hands. That's not fair.
Physical interaction.
He's like, oh.
Yeah.
I could do it too.
But like you see people in your live chats, and you see like the comment section, and you know people watch your stuff, and you know that like, you know, we're doing something very special here on YouTube and like on Twitch and stuff. But you don't. Yeah, there's a disconnect, yeah, because you see like 100,000, 50,000, 10,000 people watch a video, and you see like 100, 200, 1,000 people watch one of your live streams, and you see all the names in chat. Your brain is not meant. Human beings aren't physically equipped to think, oh, each of these little people, each of these little guys are real guys in their own rooms doing their own little thing with their own lives, their own issues, their own problems and stuff. You don't really. Your brain can't like handle that, because if you did, you would drive yourself fucking insane doing it.
Oh,
It's probably literally explode.
Yeah, because like that's so much fucking overwhelming pressure, right? So when you go out to a con, you go to somewhere like PAX, and you're greeted with like a bunch of real fucking physical people that know you, that like what you do online, and you're like, wow, the person that wrote that comment, that's a real guy. Like that's you. That's crazy. That wild tangent, but I just thought that was like a really
No,
That's like a real
absolutely.
Cool thing.
Like, seeing people resonate with the stuff you do, especially in person, beyond surreal. I mean, one of the craziest times I've had it at a con was when a Hat Kid cosplayer came up to me and was like, oh my god, you're Failboat. And we're popping off about it. I'm like, this is wild that like the game I backed on Kickstarter now has someone cosplaying as the main character of that coming up to meet me. I was a fan of the game, and now the game character's a fan of me, and I'm like, what?
What the fuck is going on here?
That's not how this works. The game characters are real. How are you here? And you're not real.
What are you doing?
I thought you were lines of code.
I think for me, one of the biggest clash was because I used to do like stand-up comedy before doing YouTube. So like in the early days of stand-up comedy, when I would do a show and they're like, oh, you know, this room can have 250 people. It's a huge place. And then you go to YouTube and you're like, oh yeah, you got 100,000 subscribers. And just trying to put like the huge stadium of 100,000 people watching you as a comic is just freaking mind-blowing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember when I hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube at Jay's house, and I was kind of like bewildered, but also I was like, I was a little like, yeah, 10,000, like 10,000 was amazing, but then I was like, it's just weird. I was like, it's weird to me that people are making such a big deal out of this, because it's like, in the grand scheme of things, it's big to me, but it's not really like big. And he was like, shut the fuck up. He went on Google, he got a picture of a stadium with 10,000 seats, and he was like, look at this picture. And I was like, okay, that's a lot of people. And he was like, that's how many people, dude. That's all the people that are subscribed to you. And I was like, when you put it like that, holy shit, okay, maybe this is a bit of a big deal.
yeah, it's weird putting it in. That's what I love doing whenever people are like, oh, okay, my video didn't do well, it only got 70,000 views, and I'm like, everybody who saw the Olympics at the stadium, that's how many people watched your video. What if I put your video on at the opening ceremony? like that's literally the equivalent to like what it is. And it's surreal because you don't think that, but then you get it in little doses when you go to a con and you see two people who are like, oh, I watch your stuff, and it's like, what? You came over here for other reasons, but you happen to be like my stupid videos that I made in my room at my house, like have that reach where I can happen to run into somebody who in the real world also has seen a video and likes it. It's just, it's insane. And I think, you know, being a content creator at a convention is definitely a different experience than just being a viewer or just, you know, just anyone else going to a convention. I guess in the same way that a cosplayer is different than going to a convention, I'm sure it's a much different experience then too. But it's a good one because it's just, you have nothing but good experiences of meeting people and constant, you know, laughter that you have with friends, with viewers, with people who know you, people who you don't know yet that you do end up meeting. It's just, nothing beats it. And I don't know really if there's too many other things out there that are truly like that for content creators, you know. It really is, nothing beats it. And I'm excited for Too Many Games 2022. Hopefully in a perfect world you will see all of us there, and there will be a Fyrus vlog in it, and it'll just be an amazing experience.
It'll be better than the first one. Subscribe for that. Get me to 100K before it happens.
We're giving it our all this year. We're all gonna be on camera. We're all gonna be, you know what I mean? It's gonna be 4K quality. Perfect.
Excellent.
You want Daddy to go to TMG this year?
No!
No. Sorry, guys.
Get that microphone out of my face.
You guys got any other concluding points about cons and the experiences and all that? Because otherwise, I think that's a wonderful place to leave it off, looking into the future.
You know, there aren't many pros and cons of going to a convention, but if we go to a convention, you could say that they are pros at cons.
Nice.
Ooh, I'm on fire. That deserves a sub. Come on now.
To me, not to Jaymoji. To me, all unsub to Jay and subscribe to me. That was really bad.
If we're gonna get him to 100K, there needs to be a balance.
I was gonna say we only have like a pool of subs. We can't get any new ones. We have to like just split them, differentiate them,
divert it evenly amongst all of us.
I siphon your subs. You lose the subs I gain them.
Equivalent exchange.
Exactly, as all things should be.
Well, everybody, thank you all for watching Mouthfuls. Subscribe to see more weekly episodes. And hey, if you're going to a con, let us know in the comments. Any future events, any stuff like that, maybe we'll see you there. But until then, bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I think Capcom does a great job when they're adding like collaboration characters.
I've never been able to extend this way.
Oh god, I gotta get the helmet on. Oh god.
Wait a minute, our guy's a bad guy the whole time.
I just think it's crazy that I'm better at video games now than when I was like 16.
That is how you fix all the problems with all these games.
I feel like toy distribution is so different than it used to be.
They resculpted over the chest. They gave him a flak jacket over it.
I laugh when I see Among Us, but I'm not having fun inside. It's a reflex.
No, you took my joke!